You know, some stories you just look at and you think to yourself, yeah, this is a joke, right? And then you realize, no, no, this is a real story. This is something really happening. And of course, when I say a joke, I mean kind of tongue in cheek. If you've lived in this city long enough, you're kind of used to the construction, right? But I will say, and it's been like this, I think, for at least the past couple of years, I've lived here most of my whole life, outside of a year in Toronto, right when I was in school. I have never, and I'm not the only one, I have never seen it this bad in terms of construction, all that kind of stuff. And I know many of you agree because I've heard from you when we talk about these things. You call up and you say terrible, right? You say the same thing. So when I saw a headline, a story that Jason Magder wrote in the Montreal Gazette that says how new software is helping Montreal keep track of construction sites. As I said, my first reaction was, yeah, come on. I know that we have no plan. We have a planning group for this. What are they doing? What cave do they live in? Why have they not done anything for a while? And then as I kept reading the story, and Jason's on the line, by the way, Jason, you say this group, yeah, and you highlight the woman. I think her name is Lynn Zupon, right? Who's the or Zumo, who's high
They're all the
running
same. Yeah.
Zumo, right? And they've been around. Here's the part that almost knocked my chair. They've been around since 2014. That's 10 years of planning and apparently having this software that they've developed really figure out how to take care of, the issues we have with construction. All this is true, right?
Yeah, it's all
Come on.
it's all true. Believe it or not. My at the back to school, everyone's probably noticing the last few weeks there are new construction sites that keep cropping up. They seem to be in front of all the schools. I mean, believe it or not, however, there is a method to the madness. Is that the way to say it?
Yeah.
I believe so. There is a method to the madness, according to Linda Ma and the software she showed me.
So this software, as I said, as you point out, was developed here. So this is not, they didn't buy this off the rack somewhere. They came up with this to deal specifically with the issues facing Montreal, right?
That's correct. Well,
Okay.
you have to understand that Montreal deals with about 1,000 public occupations of the streets, which could be anything from a small festival to a huge construction site, all in 1 year. Some years it's 1,000, sometimes some years it's almost as much as 1,500, and all that happens, most of it between April and December. So that's a lot of things to keep track of. And until they can develop this software, they were doing it on 70 different Excel documents. So they would manually go in and enter the information in, and it would be on 70 different documents because there are 70 different city departments that deal with these construction sites.
There's 70 different departments dealing with this. And they say the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. More often than not, there are a lot of hands in here, which can only make it worse. So I wonder if maybe that would be the place to start. I don't mean to, kind of be facetious here, but when you say they coordinate with all these departments, and I'm thinking back to before this coordination existed, I don't remember things being worse. I remember them being better. How is that possible?
Well, I think we're doing more construction, but things have always been bad. I remember going downtown, and it was back to school. It wasn't even back to school; it was November, and they were starting to repave Côte de Neige Road, and there was snow in the forecast the following week. So, I mean, and this was at least 20 years ago at this point. So, I think things have always been bad. This department was created in response to numerous complaints, specifically the reconstruction of Saint Laurent, where they did all the work. They
Sure.
disrupted everyone's lives for a full year, and then everyone thought it was done, and then lo and behold, the Gaz Metro came back and opened the street again, and they had to reconnect or connect new people. So it was another few months of construction.
Yeah,
So,
and by the way, thank you for bringing that up because for people who've lived here for a while, and on the Main, on that part of St. Lawrence, just above Sherbrooke, where all this took place, I think if you look back, there'll be quite a few merchants if they're listening. Who'll say, you know what? Had it not been for that work, they'd still be in business today. That basically ruined that block from Sherbrooke all the way up to Prince Arthur for many, many people. A lot of those places just disappeared and never opened again. So it's good. I mean, obviously, that we have someone coordinating this. I'm just not sure where that's going. As I said, and I'm only being I'm just half kidding here, but I don't ever remember. Yes, we've always had construction. Yes, there's always been an issue, but it's never been as bad as it is now. And this is with someone coordinating the work.
that's right. You also have to take into account that the city is only a small player in all this. There's also Hydro-Quebec that's doing huge amount of work. There's the REM that's doing a lot of work. Lots is closed around the downtown area, all around the city, actually, all around the island, and even up in Laval because of the construction work going on with the REM. And there are more cars on the road because of all these disruptions. I mean,
True.
the Two Mountains line has been disrupted for so many years. The ridership is down on the metro and trains, so everyone's on the streets. Cars are all back, congestion's back, and
Jason, are you making
we're stuck in
excuses for
traffic.
this? Are you making excuses for the city?
That's not my job.
Are you sure? It sounds like you
Excuses for
are.
the city.
Listen, you also have a quote in here. This is interesting. The beauty of this tool, this is her, Lynn Dumont, referring to the software that's supposed to handle this. The beauty of this tool is that we can go further in the planning than we did before. What does that mean in English?
It means they can plan 5, even 10 years out. They can see more. I guess they can see it all much more clearer. Every department has access to it, so it's geolocalized, and people can. She can sort of. They can do things like say, you know what, we have this sector here that's under pressure. Specifically, the Louis Hippolyte Lafontaine tunnel, the work that's going on now. Because of that, they're actually trying to avoid doing some work in the area. I know, obviously, there is some work going on in the area, but there's some things that they try to avoid doing because they can see ahead of time. You know, there's this big thing is going to happen. They can even go so far as to see that there are buildings that are being built, and they can predict where they're going to have to add sewer connections, and so they redo the roads and in advance of some big residential projects, for example.
So I would ask how they can explain instances where some work is done, you think they're done, and then 2 weeks later they're back doing stuff again. But I'm not going to go to that because apparently that's something
I
they
did
didn't
ask
know.
her that.
Did you?
Obviously.
And?
Yeah, of course. She said, you know, with all the planning in the world, there's still these thousands of projects. There's still these, you know, dozens of city departments and other partners like Hydro-Quebec, Bell, Videotron, and there are still things that we can't plan, and there are still things that are emergencies that have to be done. And I would imagine there are a lot of them.
I would ask two questions. So number one, you mentioned all these different players, right? It's not just the city. More often than not, it's not the city directly that does this. But if I decided I had work to do, whatever company I am to do on a site, and I don't report to the city yet, I go there and I dig up the street, does that happen?
I imagine it happens, but this new software is supposed to keep track of it all better. Like if someone issued a permit, it shows up on those former Excel sheets. It shows up in the software.
Okay.
And you can see if there's a construction site. You can zoom in on the map. You can click on it, and you can see what the construction site is, who's responsible, and when it's supposed to start and when it's supposed to stop.
And then you can go back after it's past when it's supposed to finish date and go, how come it didn't finish on that day? Well, it'll be fun. I have to try that. My last...
It even goes so far as to you can even see with this software, well, this is not for citizens, but Lynn can see what size of cones are being ordered.
Oh, that's great.
And I asked her, actually, just to have a count on how many cones, orange cones, are on the island of Montreal.
And?
It's a dream of hers that she would like to one day count all the cones, but she's not quite there yet.
Oh, it's a dream of mine to one day be able to count all those cones, pick them up, and throw them in the St. Lawrence. So we have different dreams, but kind of in the same place. One last thing I would ask you, and I don't know that this is something they'd even consider, but given the fact we have the software developed, is there a way, you mentioned Info Travaux, I get the fact you can go to the site. Is there a way for citizens, for Montrealers, to be able to interact with this team to let them know when something is up? Or is that just a call 311 kind of deal?
It's a call 311 kind of deal, but you can. There are other links as well that are on that site as well. But it is basically call 311, and good luck. Good luck on
good
the
luck,
road.
Yeah, and good
you
luck.
Never know. It seems she sees it all, but we only see it once we see that our route has been cut off by these massive orange cones. So. Good luck to us all.
By the way, just tell me, you did a lot of work on this. The system the software that they use, was this developed on Windows 98? Do you happen to know?
I didn't ask
is
that.
It current, or you should have asked that? Okay. Jason, I thank you for the time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Jason Magder, the Montreal Gazette, on this planning. Yeah. Since 10 years, this stuff has been around. They've been planning the construction sites and having everybody, the left hand talk to the right hand. And clearly it's gotten much better, hasn't it?